Hello Barmy Badger Army, welcome to another episode. If you're new to the channel, this is a vlog, video game streaming, film creating, entertainment creating, short creating, awesome channel that is a bit of an old school variety channel. I know you don't really see those nowadays, as everyone's like, you must have a niche. I don't really like having a niche. I like doing what I want, when I want. And I think that's quite fun. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy that too. Now, on that note, today we're going to be reviewing the newest episode of Xmen. And that's going to be a fun ride. Xmen 97. And of course, this is an awesome episode. Episode 4 featuring Jubilee and many others. Now, Jubilee has come of age finally. She's 18. And Wolverine's baked some cakes. Yay. And obviously everyone's like, happy birthday everyone. Here you go. Have some cakes. And everyone's like, what do you want to do, Jubilee? And Magneto's like, we must do training, just in case Mr. Sinister comes back to defeat us. And everyone's like, but we wanted to have a party for Jubilee. And Magneto's like, no, to the danger room. Then, of course, we get Jubilee bored in her room with her mate. And then an old school console suddenly comes alive. The mojo. And, of course, then Jubilee gets transported into a fantastic 18-bit, 16-bit wibbly game. And I love all the references. You've got references from Age of the Apocalypse. You've got old school references from pretty much every single, X-Men video game they ever made on the Sega. You've even got a little cartridge with Apocalypse's head on it, Wolverine's claws, and you've even got some pretty intense Wolverine violence in the cutscenes that weren't, ever really seen in the games. Or, of course, in the show, because Wolverine never really shanked anyone, did he? But in these little scenes, you see him going at it with the claws to people. And that was like, oh, okay, are we going to see some cool stuff? And yes, we do. Because obviously it's video game centered, they sort of up the ante a bit. We get boss fights with Magneto. We get a cool, mysterious stranger hacking into the game. And we get some lovely, lovely pixelated art. And we get a nice little backstory of Jubilee as well. So while we're going on this really fun adventure that's well animated, with lovely video game references, we get to see a bit more of Jubilee's past. So in a way, it's a bit of a, this is what Jubilee's been up to since we saw her last. And this is what, if you don't remember what happened in the previous seasons, this is what there as well. And I really like that. It was a really inventive way of showing her past, present and future, what could be. And I really, really enjoyed that. And Jubilee is a bit of a sleeper character where you could tell that eventually her powers are going to be fantastic rather than just going, ba-doo! I reckon Jubilee's powers are going to be on point eventually. By the end of this season or by the end of the next season, I think Jubilee is going to be one of the most powerful in the team. I think that's the way they're going to go with it, is that she's going to obviously become 18, become a bit more confident, and have a bit more of a love interest, and then her power set's going to shoot up. Don't be shocked if that happens, in my point of view. Now, there's another thing I want to say, is the fact that there was some fun references there. Mojo was fantastic. It was great to see Mojo after all this time, and I think he makes a perfect fun villain. And it was quite funny because at the beginning of the episode he was all skinny, and then they had some sort of weight loss jokes and that, and then by the end of it he was like massive, final boss. So I think that was quite a fun little allude to what he looks like now, and then how he's changed, and then how he went back to the way he was. I thought that was pretty cool. And you had some other really interesting things, and it just shows you that they modernised it, they changed it up, and it was an interesting episode because he was like, oh yeah, it's not about TV anymore, it's about video games, and that's how he did it. And it'd be interesting to see what other victims he caught in the video game universe and who died and stuff. They sort of allude to that, but not really. But that'd be interesting to see what happens there. Was Jubilee and her mate the first victims, or was there more? Who knows? But I'm sure we'll allude to that later on at some point during the series. But yeah, it was really cool. I loved the artwork, loved the voiceovers today, and I loved the storyline, so I thought it was really good. And of course, there was Forge's and Storm's storyline as well as the Jubilee storyline, which was really good. I liked that, you know. And that carried on the slightly darker tone of the previous episode where you had Mr. Sinister and it was a bit more spookier. So this one was a bit more, you know, spookier too, with some sort of weird sort of weather demon almost. That was pretty interesting. And Forge talking about his backstory, and of course Storm coming to terms with her loss of her powers. It was really interesting the way they did it, and how Forge and Storm's romance sort of slowly progressed over a very short space of time, because bear in mind the Jubilee part of the episode was quite a chunk, so they had to fit a lot in a very short space of time, and that was very good storytelling and very good writing. Because the Forge character, I don't remember much about him, but in this he feels quite lovable, you know. He's an interesting man with some sort of mysteries and that, and they slowly get divulged during the episode. I'm not going to spoil it, because I think you guys should watch it and enjoy the mysteries that happen during that. And I like the fact that that bit was slightly darker than the Jubilee one. It was interesting how they managed to balance both parts. Jubilee's one was way exciting, video games, all these different things in there that were really cool. She upped her powers, and it was like a coming of age episode. I love that. And this one was slightly darker, well, a lot darker, with Forge and Storm working through emotional problems together, building a romance, and of course fighting a spooky demon. That was very interesting. And for me, the art was much sort of a darker tone in that part as well, with lots of greys, lots of darker shades, and it did show the difference in the animation. I think it was really interesting. And on a quick note, I noticed that the Marvel bit at the front, just before we go, was metalized as well. You know, it's of course you had the X-Men, but the Marvel intro now was slightly upbeat and a bit metal as well. So I thought that was interesting. I really hope that Marvel realise that their animated shows are fantastic. I really hope we get a season 2 and 3 like it's been rumoured, because I cannot wait to see this develop more. And I really hope they do a Spider-Man one as well. That's what I'm ultimately looking forward to, is that this X-Men series does so well that they tie up the ends of the old X-Men, of the old Spider-Man series. Because Mary Jane being lost in a weird dimension and Spider-Man not knowing where the real Mary Jane is was such a horrible cliffhanger. They need to deal with that soon, please. You know, that's childhood trauma right there. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Let me know if you've enjoyed tonight's episode of X-Men, if you've seen it already. And please, guys, feedback on today's episode. If you're enjoying these reviews, please tell me and let me know. And if you think there's something I could change in these reviews, please hit me up and let me know too. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye, and I'll see you next time.